Good morning, everyone. Well, morning, afternoon, night, depending on where you live. This is Pixel here with a new time zone. Trying out, well, new time frame, which is 9 a.m. for me on a Sunday. Testing and see how does it work with people. Hopefully you can join. This is made mostly because I know some of the people that follow me live in Europe or Asia in general. So perhaps the time I was using before was not like the best, right? One second. So I decided to try a new time. If it works, I'll probably try to do something around this time, perhaps not this earlier. At least for me, 9 a.m. on a Sunday, it's way too early. Especially because we had time change this today, so I actually have 1 hour less of sleep than I should have. I didn't think about that when I set it up for Sunday, but that's okay. The thing is, again, I'm just testing, seeing how it goes, and not people like this new time frame. I could probably try doing it like, I don't know, 10 a.m. On a Sunday for me, which is 1 hour before or after this. Hopefully it's a good compromise. If not, I'll just go back to the time I was using before. But on today's stream, we're going to do some building, or start building at least at the end. But I do want to talk about a few things that that happened between the last stream and when I took the photos, right? So when I took the photos for the latest build that we built on stream with Joker, I actually made some changes to the mech because I didn't like how the old one was represented in photos. So it ended up me changing some parts of the design. It was nothing big, but my promise was to show everything that I made on stream. So I'll go the first half of today's stream. Will be just going through the changes that I made from last stream to this to the end build, and after that we'll start building some Hydroid Deluxe. Okay, so that's the plan for today. I hope you stick around, and if you're checking this on VODs, either on my Twitch or YouTube, I hope you have fun, and if you can, leave a comment, right? And let me know if you need anything else that I could help. Right? Okay. So let's change to the build cam. And I have to change this back a little bit. So I put this image here because I want to show the difference or the progress that was made from the original build or the original design to the last build. And I think we discussed this last week. That it's pretty similar in many ways, and of course, solving the change of using white, we changed the white for gray and like grading of gray. So let me just put it here, perhaps with the big a little bit while we'll discuss this. By the way, today's background music, it's Mega Man X4, one of my favorite Mega Mans of all times. So I hope you enjoy it. Okay, real quick. So going back to the photo and the drawing, I explained the first time when we were doing the drawing that it's all about compromises, and sometimes you like an idea from the get-go enough to keep at it all the way, and sometimes you have to fix things middle of the road, and you have to do compromises and changes. But there are a few things that I actually kept from the original design to the last design. The biggest change, of course, is the fact that I stopped using white and changed it to gray. And the other thing that I changed was the fact that the dangles at the top, or the head itself, it's not quite the same shape. It is similar, but I decided to move the dangles back to have more like a more flowy look. Of course, the dangle can always go down if needed, so that's regular. But in theory, what I wanted to do is to show you how to represent an idea and get it done, which sometimes it's never one-to-one on those regards. But I'm happy with how it ended. I made some changes from last stream till when I took the photos, because actually when I started to take the photos, I stopped to modify it. It was an afternoon, and it took me quite more time that I decided to go for it, because I actually made design changes. And they were not big design changes like I explained. The biggest two changes, let me show you right on the build. So, one of the things I made actually for the sword is this stand. It's a simple clear stand. I'm just using one of these clear pieces, long pieces, and just two kind of blocky, transparent things. And it works good enough. You can actually have the sword standing like this, and having the bot holding the sword in different position. The other thing I actually changed of the sword is the tip. I replaced the slope inverted black brick to a single 2x1 light green plate, which allows it to actually stand better if I were to stand it vertically like this. Just a small change. Let me just put the sword back, because that's not the main thing we changed. Okay, so let me explain real quick what was changed. The main thing that was changed here is the chest, right? Chest, and I made some actual changes to the, I think it was the back. So the back and the chest were the biggest changes. Let me take out the keyboard so I can show this comfortably. The biggest change in the back is the fact that I actually added one of the plates. I added one here, so I ended up adding an additional plate right here next to this one. This one was actually it, so I just added a ratchet joint here, so I could add this point. It's not that complicated. And at the back, I added this particular ball joint here that's holding this part. I just added a 4x2 black pen plate, covering it up so that it covers more area at the back, right? And it provides a better coverage in general. And at the front, there are not many changes that were made. Because it's basically the same at the front, except the chest. The chest area I did change quite a bit. Let me take this out. I'll show you. Basically, what I did was just put this golden plate here, and worked on getting the armor coming from the top. So instead of just having like a single stud here that blocks this, I added a brick, a 2x1 brick with two studs at the top. I put another golden block at the top, and I put this at the front. And what it does, it creates a different shape in general that goes along with the golden or the black triangle that we have at the crotch area. Let's call it that way. So it kind of replicates this shape here at the front, right here in the middle of the chest. So it's like it's having two triangles aligned here. That was basically the biggest change that I made. They were, again, not bigger, not, and I put this instead of having them down here like so, which still look good. I just left them like up. That was basically it in regards of changes. That's it. Well, I added some light green here below the golden knots or dots, just to represent that they are able to detach, and that's how they control or manage. That's it. That's basically all the changes I made. In overall, I'm quite happy with this design, and I just wanted to share with you what changed, and I hope you like the photos on my social networks. They went live, I think, on Thursday, Friday and Saturday. That's the time they went live. So I just wanted to show you that real quick before we started on Hydroid. Let me just try to put this out. Okay, so going back to this, let me just change this to the thing we're gonna start working today. So today we're gonna start working on Hydroid Deluxe. This build is actually quite interesting because I've been thinking about building. When I made Zephyr Deluxe, this one, I was actually in doubt about whether to build this or to build Hydroid, right? And the only thing that made me choose Zephyr over Hydroid at that particular time was the fact that I wanted something with I liked Hydroid Zephyr a bit better, just a bit better, but I actually like the combination of colors from Hydroid a little bit more. But the overall design, I like Zephyr because it actually looks more like a mech than Hydroid. So that's why I went for it. But what I want to do today is start building Hydroid. And these are like the color palettes that I'm going to use for him. So basically, let me just perhaps cover my picture just so I can show you better what I'm going to use to build. Okay. So, as you can see, I'm going to point out the main colors that I'm going to be using. So, these two are like good highlights that will be used for them. And this probably are going to be another color highlights or color detail. So I'm not going to use bright yellow except perhaps one or two highlights in general. But what I'll actually use is orange and this yellow. This yellow is like an orange yellow. it's in a bit in between, and let me try to show you, because this is actually the gradients. You can see the difference between these three colors, right? So I'm gonna focus mostly on this two for the orange yellowy parts, and perhaps a bit of this just to do some highlights here and there, but these two are the main colors I'm going to be using. I'm also going to use this too, right? So the clear parts are not going to be actually white, are actually mostly going to be cream with white highlights. And I might actually go with this color for some shadow parts. So this part, sorry, the yellow part was it. This is going to be the gradient for the white part. Okay. Like I said, this one is going to be mostly, I'm going to work on gradients with color pieces a lot, so that's why I think it's going to be interesting. And probably it's going to be a challenge to build properly, but I actually like those challenges. And when talking about color parts, it's going to be interesting seeing how it ends up coming through. Now, for the dark parts, this is the interesting part. You could say that I could go with a dark set of colors for that, like black. But I think I'll go actually with a combination from this dark brown. Let me take the yellows out. And put it here. So I'll go with dark brown, really dark brown. Taking out pieces in the middle of the street, because sometimes it gets stuck and I have to pull too hard on some of the boxes. I might end up tripping things that are on the top. So what I'm thinking is going with this sort of thing. And even depending on the shape, I might actually go with some highlights of these colors just for the chest. These two I might not even use. I might just consider for some highlights, but I'm just putting them in consideration. I'm actually not sure that I'll end up using it, but it's good to have an idea, right? And that's mainly and very likely that for the red I'm going to be using this highlights, correct? And for the blue, I'm actually not going to change the blue. That's the only blue I'm going to be using. But on the Hydroid image, it's shown that he has like water properties. So I'm going to be using tons of clear light blue to go with the blue. That's how I'm going to plan on building. So it's actually quite a lot of colors that I'm going to be using. Let me try to put them in a way that you can see at least a bit of every color. Well, let me just reduce the image and I'll show you the amount of colors I'm planning to use just on this build. Again, this is not just like the older pieces, I'm talking about the colors that I'm probably going to use just for this. So these are the colors that I'll probably use for this. I might actually end up using a bit more, but in general those are the colors that I think will be needed for this. again, the body is going to be pretty straightforward. The body itself is just going to be, I'm going to be using probably heavier ball joints to build the body itself. I'm not probably going to touch many light, like smaller ball joints, except for smaller articulations like ankles and wrists, and probably the neck. But that's it. I've mostly tried to stick to big ball joints for this build. Now, let me just clear some space here because most of the first work do not touch any color at all. But that has a reason, because the first things we're going to build is actually the skeleton. And the skeleton by itself doesn't use that, or you don't have to worry about coloring many of them, the parts. So it's just most about, at the start, getting the shape you want, right? And for this build as well, I'm not going to use like a mech pilot. I'm just going to start working on the shape. Why I'm not going to use a pilot? Well, to be honest, the reason why I'm not going to do that is because I want to start sculpting a bit better, and when you're doing something like replicating a figure like Hydroid here, the problem becomes that restricting yourself to having a cockpit restricts you to the shape of the body, and Hydroid has quite a thick chest area, and if I want to, I could create a custom cockpit just for that area, but it's gonna take way more time than it should just to do that. Okay, so I think overall it's not worth it. So, but what I'm actually going to start building is the chest and the column. Those are my first builds today. And for that I'm going to need ball joints, connections, and let me get some small ball joints. And I'm going to try to focus on the joints of this color, right? Let's see what I have to work with. So I'm lucky enough that I have some brown connections. This is going to be quite helpful when trying to build this, because actually, like I said before, it's not that the skeleton has that many parts that are actually going to be shown. But if you have the pieces in that color, why not just perhaps going all the way and trying to use them, right? So this is the brown pieces that I found. Let me see if I can find at least one or two more pieces like this. I want at least 4 of this, and I'll show you why it looks like. Okay, so these are going to be the main articulations. So what I'm thinking here, it's probably that I'm either going to use this, like main chest. This is going to be like the shoulders, the connection this way, and I'm going to build around them to create like protection and coverage, right? This is probably going to be, and for the hips, for the hips, I'm thinking I'm either going to go this way, which is a nice thick hip with great connections, and I'm going to build around them as well. So, and this is going to be again the like the spine of the whole build, and this is probably what I'll end up using something like this as the main skeleton. It'll end up being something like this. So it has quite a thick build. Let me explain you what I mean by thick though. It's not like super thick, but for example, if I compare it to this, let me put it in perspective. This hips by themselves are going to be wider than this build, just by the single fact that I'm using a 4-stud wide here with the separation. So the legs are going to end up being more separate than this build, so it's going to be a bit wider. I'm also considering using a 6 width. Let me have something to show you what I mean by 6 width. So this is a 6 width build for the shoulders. Again, it's not going to be this tight. It's going to be have more separation here, perhaps here. But I want to show you real quick what I mean with this. So the width of the shoulders are going to be actually wider than regular mechs, because I think Hydroid I'm going to build it bulkier on the sides. It's going to be wide. So that's when I'm actually going to choose something like this for the main build or the main body. And I'll probably start working on there's another drawing for Hydroid which has some back details. I'll probably use that. Yep, give me a minute, I'm down in the picture. Okay, so I'm gonna use this picture as a reference right now. I'm changing the picture, give me 1 second. So this is the picture I'm going to use as reference, because I'm actually going to build the cape as well. So in order to do that, let me show you real quick. The back, you'll notice that it has some spirals. Creating those spirals is actually going to be kind of interesting. I'm having some ideas on how to do that. But when it comes to that, we'll check it. But I'm actually going to build the cloak. The cloak, no, it's not a cloak, it's like a cape, like a... Hi Cobalt, how are you? Thanks. Did you like it? Did you check the photos? What do you think about it? Also, let me know, does this time frame work better for you, or the old one that I had before works better for you? Because just let me know, because again, I'm thinking of perhaps having one day of the week, which would be Sunday, which is the only day I have to do the streams at the morning, if it works better for some of you. That's the compromise I can make, but I just wanted to know. So if you can, let me know. Also, let me know if you like how Joker ended. A bit sad that you were not able to join the last stream, but nothing to worry about it. Oh, thank you very much. So let me know. Do let me know. Did you like the finished product? Did you like how it ended looking? I actually liked it quite a lot. But I do want to know if you actually thought what you actually thought about the finished product. Okay, so I'm gonna start building like the chest area. Well, I'm basing this on the fact that some of the people that have contacted me on PMs are from Japan or Asia in general. Noticing that, that's what I'm actually trying to join or make something that's a bit more friendly to that time zone. Because some of them are just saying that they actually watch the VODs, not like they want to join the streams, and perhaps some people just like to watch VODs instead of watching the streams. Yeah, that was the second set of Instagram photos where I actually showed how the blade detached, which is something that we discussed on the first stream when we were designing. I'll just put this back real quick and I'll show you. So, like you said, those are the things that were right from the design phase, where these blades actually detach around the build. And what you end up with is like singular blades that are remote controlled, and same with the drone. You actually have like I like the bulky shoulder representing where the cloak should be. And the only thing that I added to the small blades is like a small green dot beneath the golden dot, representing like a control, an energy that controls the blades. And the drone itself, I actually added some like showing like thrusters that allow it to float and control the blade. So that was actually from the first design. We made that decision, but I actually had one post. So what you're referring is perhaps do like a separate post where I explain that. I could do it. The only problem is, and I know that you read the posts on Instagram, but I've noticed that 99 or 90%, let's not be 99%, 90% of the people that actually see the post do not read the text, the description. So I try to make that visually represented on the last picture, right? But most people do not read the description. So even if I added the detail, what I am going to try to do is perhaps on not Instagram, but I'll try to do it on Twitter. I'll try to do a Twitter post where I actually explain some of the image design. But the thing is, with Twitter, I have even less space to write, so I might do a multi-post where I actually explain those things. And that's the problem. That's why actually sometimes I like doing the builds on stream, because sometimes you work on details, like tons of details that go unnoticed, just because there are mechanical details, and people just like how they are built, and the general shape. So that's why general shape for me it's important as well, because it's what draws the attention. But I actually built tons of mechanical details inside the builds, which are 90% of the time lost to translation, or lost or hidden because people don't read the descriptions and stuff like that. So, I mean, those are mostly for me and the people that actually catch them, like you and Saro. So I'm glad that you accept it, because that means I'm not doing all that work just for me. There are actually some people that notice the details, and I like that. But in general, it's fine. I do like adding details just for my sake. Okay, so but honest question, you know, which I know you said you can work with both times. Which is actually better for you? And I'll ask Sato if he's able to join. So I just wanted to know, because you and Sato are the people that always join. So as a reward for you, because you have joined almost all the streams that I've made, I want to make something that works for you. And I know that it works for the people that are always here. Perhaps more people will join that way. That's my thought. It might be wrong. And again, I'm checking the analytics, and yeah, in general, I want to give back to the people that have been from the get-go as well. And I know you and Sato have been there for me almost every stream. Which is why, honest question, let me know if this time works for you better or worse. Again, I'm not going to take all full decisions out of this, but it could help me make decisions in general. Okay, one downside of doing it at this hour, which is probably what, if I keep this time frame in general next week, I'll do it 1 hour after. Besides the fact that today was bad in a few ways, considering the fact that it was time change today. So I actually had 1 hour less of sleeping in general, and my body's not used to, because it's the day of the time change for me, which sucks. I didn't thought about it. I didn't know it was today. Today was the time change. I just noticed it. I'm actually starting day saving times today. The other thing that I didn't consider was the fact that I didn't have time to have breakfast. I just woke up like too late, and ran to the office and set up everything. I didn't set up anything yesterday, which thinking about it, I might do next time if I keep the time frame. I'll just leave the lights or everything set up so that I can just come here with breakfast and everything just to stream. Today was the first day. It was chaos. Many things were combined with the chaos, but I just wanted to try it out. I mean, honestly, if it's a better time frame for you, I'm not too bad with it, except for because today was the first one and it was chaos. I'll do some adjustments, like perhaps like I said, 1 hour later, and I'll adjust some things. But if it works for you, I can do that. Wednesday will remain the same at the same time. Well, considering that I just did the time zone change, perhaps it's going to be an hour later. And Sundays it's going to be at 10 a.m. for me. So one in the afternoon, one in the morning. I can do that if enough people like it. And the first way to knowing if enough people like it is to let me know if you actually like it better one way or the other. Okay, I have the place. I'm gonna work with plating some things. So I'm actually going to use this dark reds like here. So I can build like the width of the body, and I'm not sure about if I either should go this one down, because even though he has a yes, this is the first time I'm testing on this time slot. So I was your morning cartoons on a Sunday. Now I'm more like afternoon soap opera or what? We're on a Sunday. No, sorry, this... Well, it's actually still Sunday for you, right? Hasn't... Yeah, it's still Sunday, I think. Okay, okay. I mean, there's always going to be a morning session for you, because the Wednesday I cannot, and I repeat, I cannot do them at morning because work, right? So you'll always have your Thursday morning session. But but here's the thing, I'm also a night person. So in my opinion, when streams are actually late night, like after 6 p.m, for me they are better than if they are in the morning. Mostly because when at mornings I'm usually either sleeping or at work, right? So for me, mornings in general do not work. But I do know that there are people that actually like waking up to some streams and putting them right in the morning, perhaps when they're just having breakfast or just waking up and brushing teeth, put the stream here and listen to it. So I know that it works for you, but in general, I'm a night person. So if I can set it up to be at your night, ironically, that would work for me if I was in another time zone. So what I could do, but I'm not decided on that yet. I'm actually thinking about doing it, but I'm not quite sure if I should, because honestly it would be tons of work, and sometimes I think I would just burn myself doing that. It's just doing 3 streams, like doing the Wednesday, the Saturday, and an additional stream on Sunday, like a recap for the week. What could end up working is, and this is my wild thought, I could do 2 streams, like the normal Wednesday and Saturday streams, which are where I've actually built, and on Sundays I'll do like a quick recap stream where I'll show I'll discuss what was built in the week, why was that, perhaps do a small amount of building, but it would be mostly talking, and it would be shorter, like an hour stream. I don't know if that could actually work. Perhaps that could help, and that way would be, and it could end up working if I leave everything set up from the Saturday stream. I do not take anything out, I just leave it there, and I come back on Sunday, do the quick stream, and that's when I take everything out, right? So I was thinking about doing something like that. Okay, like perhaps once or twice a month. Could work. I could do that. Okay, so going back real quick to the build. Okay, so I think the width. I'm wondering about the length of the body. If it's good enough, or perhaps I should do it shorter. Okay, so we could do like a talking stream on Sunday, like 1 or twice a week, which would be just speaking and perhaps showing you stuff that I found interesting. I mean, if you're down to do it, I could do it. I'm always up for speaking more. As you can imagine, I'm almost never shut. It's something that my wife loves and hates about me, because actually keeping me without speaking is usually more complicated than making me speak. So that's a good and a bad thing in general. But if you, okay, so it might be redundant. What I could do is, okay, so Sundays streams, which I could do once or twice a month, could be just speaking about things, and I can, if people join and have questions about the build, I just can go back and show them. So it would be a talk about everything and Q&A, right? Something like that. The only problem with that in particular is that I think for my stream is not that big, so that it can actually have that reach. Because again, I'm trying to have more people join, but I'm not going to force anyone to do. If they don't have the time or anything, something like that, and they can join, I don't want to force anyone to join. So if I have a small audience, I'm going to try to please my small audience the best I can. So for example, sorry about those spells. That might be a downside of doing this in the morning. So this is for those wondering what those bells are. Usually, because I live in Mexico, right? Usually at mornings, there's the garbage trucks pass by streets. Hi Sato, how are you? I'm actually glad that both of you are on today's stream, because like I was speaking to Cobalt. Cobalt actually suggested making Sunday streams like chatting streams, where I actually don't build, or perhaps build just a little bit, and we can use if I remember, I don't remember, because I actually stopped using Facebook like years ago. So I'm actually not particularly okay. Don't worry about it. So I'm actually not part of any groups, especially after last year. So like I said on some streams, I'll just wait a bit for Sato to be able to join, to continue this discussion. But in general, last year for me was chaotic in the fact that it's not, well, it's still not super fun in general, because with everything going on around the world, and it has affected me in some ways or another. But in general, I've stopped like being part of many groups. I've remained in touch with some persons. Correct. Don't worry about it. But yeah, it's mostly that, right? It's not like I haven't kept up with many groups. I could start working on that. But that's the thing. I haven't been using the only social networks that I keep using after a while. Yeah, I actually joined that, but like I said, I stopped using Facebook like years ago. Well, at least more than 1 year. I actually don't even remember my Facebook password. So that's the thing. I could go back, but going back just to promote my things feels cheap, because I don't like doing that. So you know what I mean, right? It's not like I don't want to do it, but the thing is, I don't want to do something just like to bring viewers or force viewership. I honestly want to build something that if you want to join, you're more than welcome, but I don't want to like do tricks to bring people here and there. I'm just putting what I have. If people want to join, more power to them. But for example, rejoining back to the Facebook group just to bring viewers sounds cheap. In the fact that I haven't actually posted or like brought anything to that community in such a long time, that just going back to get people to join in a stream, I don't know, I feels like, yeah. So what I can do is on the social networks that I actually been keeping up with, which are Twitter and Instagram. Instagram I don't actually use that much, to be honest. I actually log like once or twice a week, and just check everything. And if I saw your post there, I actually liked you, or but I don't actually use that one. Well, I know which social network I would love to have more followers, because it's the one that I actually use, Twitter. I actually log on to Twitter more than more than once a day, because I actually like reading comments and people and hearing. And Instagram is not about reading; it's about watching or seeing. So it's perhaps like that's why I don't actually like. Hi, Saddles. Welcome back. So real quick. That's the thing. I actually don't like Facebook at all, and it's nothing like political or anything about it. It's just I don't get it. I don't find any appeal on Facebook, right? Because you usually use social networks because they bring something to you, and I don't find Facebook like any fun. And yes, that's what I'm actually a bit happier than as of today. I think I had 444 followers on Twitter. So Twitter is actually growing a bit slower, but it's growing, right? And to be honest, I would like to have more growth on Twitter, just because I find it that's the only social network I actually pay super attention to. Not saying that it's healthy, because let's be honest, Twitter's not healthy. But Saro, like I was saying, I was discussing with Cobalt. So first of all, thanks for joining. Second, let me know if you actually like this time frame compared to the old one. I know for you, the old one, it's like middle of the morning, like 2 or 3 a.m. So one of the reasons I wanted to do. Yes, so that's one of the reasons why I actually want to do it this time, because I know for you in particular, it's kind of a sucky time to join. It's perhaps not sucky, but it's middle of the night. So what I was discussing with Kobolds was perhaps like once or twice a month. So keeping the streams at regular times the rest of the week, which are just building, right? And once or twice a month, do the Sunday streams at this time, and actually using these days just to speak, right? Just discussing things, topics, whatever we want to talk about. Building techniques, you can show me your designs and we can discuss them. Things like that, right? And having a chill stream on Sundays. By the way, if you can figure out to which soundtrack we're listening to, you get extra points. Yes, in general, so today the topic of discussion is social networks. Yes, that's Mega Man X. This one in particular is X5. So my favorites And again, this is biased because it probably is the fact that I never played Mega Man X until Mega Man X4. Before that, I only played the number Mega Mans, the normal ones. The first X that I actually played was Mega Man X4. After Mega Man X4 is when I searched back and played all the X on Super Nintendo and the other one on PlayStation. I think the last Mega Man X I actually played was Mega Man X6 or X7. Yes, the original Mega Man. Actually thought about going X or normal Mega Mans for this stream. And to be honest, X won by a little, but not because the Mega Man 2 soundtrack is not great. It is great. I actually the only thing that made it win is they actually found the soundtrack. Like the complete soundtrack came first on YouTube, and I was in a hurry, so that's the first one I picked. That's why I won. Like I said, today was chaos, just in the fact that, like I explained, today was the time zone, the daylight saving was today, and I didn't plan for that. I didn't consider that, so I'm actually 1 hour sleep less, just because the time changed today, and I didn't have that in consideration. I did have a PS2, and if you're gonna put, you're gonna have me choose which one is better, PS1 or PS2. I don't know which. I honestly cannot answer that because I love my Nintendo 64, but honestly, I like more games in PS1 than my Nintendo 64. Considering that the fact that my Nintendo 64 had one of my favorite games of all time with both Zeldas, right? And I actually like tons of games from Nintendo 64. But saying that, PlayStation 1 had even greater games that are my favorite. So I actually go for on that generation, PS1 wins for me. Next generation, which is PS2, GameCube, and Dreamcast, I actually went for a PS2, and I don't regret my choice. I played so many games on that. So many games on my PS2. So I actually enjoyed my PS2 quite a lot. After that, what's the generation after the PS2? So it's PS3, the Wii, and the Xbox, right? I never owned an Xbox, never. The few games I played on Xbox I have played on a friend's Xbox. I never owned any Xbox at all of any generation. I haven't owned. So I wouldn't tell you. Yes, the like the 2.5 ones, like where, yeah, those are weird. And the ones that I think had Axel on them, which is the new character. I didn't like Axel. So yeah, and to be honest, I like using Zero more than Mega Man. It's more challenging, but it's more fun. Going back to the fact that after the X, my favorite series is the Zero series on the Game Boy Advance. I mean, PS4 has great games, and let me say, I don't regret getting my PS4. I played tons of games on it. but I love the portability of the Switch. You know what I mean? So I've actually gone back and played tons of indie games that I liked on my Switch, because one thing is that Switch on itself, for me, it's the perfect indie machine. Oh no, that's what I said. So after the X series, my favorite series is the the Zero series on Game Boy Advance. Yeah, exactly. So X, it's amazing, and I love using Zero on X. But the Game Boy Advance series on the Zero series, it's punishing. It's like chef kiss. Yeah. So that. Oh, sorry about that. I hit the mic. So real quick, and for example, if I'm going to do something like mention the Mega Man, which I love that series. Yes, it's super hard. I love the fact that it's super post-apocalyptic. So Mega Man on itself was post-apocalyptic. Well, no, it's futuristic. Apocalyptic, futuristic. Mega Man Zero is just everything went to hell, right? And you wake up in the worst case scenario. That setup is amazing. So Mega Man Zero, nah, it's hard as hell, right? But I kind of like the challenge. The only thing is, it made me break one Game Boy Advance. That game, I believe it was Mega Man Zero. I don't remember if it was 2 or 3, but one of those made me break my Game Boy Advance. Yes. So Switch on itself, it's amazing, and the fact that you can. I've used it to play almost every single indie game that's come on that has some sort of renown or anything like that. I've played it on my Switch. And one of my favorite games of last generation was actually Transistor. And Transistor, I played it on PS4. I platinum Transistor, but either way, I love it so much that I actually got it again on my Switch. Yes, but I hated the controls of Mega Man Legends. I like the setup. I like some of the gameplay parts, but I hated how it played. The controls, I hate. They were not as tight. That's the thing. Mega Man Zero, Mega Man X depend on tight controls, right? Every decision, every click, if you die, mostly it's your fault. But Legends, it was a bit clunky. Yeah, Transistor, I have it twice. I've got it twice. One of the few games that actually, most of the games, once I play them, I don't get the remake or anything like that. Oh, the soundtrack's amazing. I know which soundtrack I'm playing next stream. That game is amazing. Let me tell you how much I love Transistor, right? So I got it on PS4. I got it on Switch. I actually bought the soundtrack, right? Which is far beyond more than a small indie game. It's not indie because Supergiant, it's one of my favorite studios today. I know, and I regret not getting it when it was super cheap. Like it was an amazing. It was a super discount. But it's one of the games that I have on my playlist, right? Because right now I have quite a few games on my playlist, and I'm still on Final Fantasy VII remake, which I got free on PS. Well, free because I have PS Plus, so I got it free, and I'm playing that. After I finish that, I like playing one game at a time, because otherwise I lose focus, and if I play more than one game at a time, if one is better than the other, usually the one that's less, I stop playing and I never take it back. So I've chosen to play one game at a time, finish it, and then I go back to the other one, right? So right now I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. After that, my plan is going back to, I don't know which one is next. Okay, so wanna know another game that I played on Switch that I absolutely loved, and I got everything done on it, even if it was, you're talking about Mega Man Zero difficult, right? So I forgot. It's Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight on Switch, I loved, and it was tough of nails. The challenge, the hard boss, the super hard boss on that are, and it's a Metroidvania. It's the style is charming. It's super well designed. I think it's made by only 2 or 3 people. The team that made that, Team Cherry. Yes, that's what I'm afraid, actually. That I'll start Hades, and I'll forget about Final Fantasy Remake. And I'm actually liking Final Fantasy Remake, so I don't want to like turn that off. And you're talking about tight controls. Hollow Knight is, it's, and the story is interesting. The art style is charming. The controls are tight. The Metroidvania is amazing. The traversing is great. Everything about the game is amazing. And I got it for like $1 or $2. When I got it, it was in a super sale, so I got it like $1 or $2. Super. It was a steal. And buck for value, that game is. Yes. So you're talking about great games for cheap. Okay, just if you buy it full price right now, it's gonna last you hours. So even if at normal price, it's a steal. And I got it for like $1 or $1 or $2. I don't remember. It was stupid. I got it for super dirty cheap. I felt dirty after buying it and playing it with that price. That's how cheap it was. And I got hours of that game. So, and speaking of best value, Hollow Knight, it gets the stamp of approval for best value right there. Okay. Want to know about Supergiant? I played Bastion on my iPad first, and I love Bastion. So Bastion is amazing. But I played on my iPad. Then I played Transistor. I fell in love with Transistor. Transistor is still my favorite Supergiant game, right? I haven't played Hades, so I wouldn't tell you. It's pending, but Transistor is amazing. Yes. Hollow Knight, I mean, even if you get it cheap, it's one of the best investments. Even if you get it at full price. Another game I play on Switch that I love. Now I actually got it on Bastion. I got on my iPad and PS4, but I didn't play it on PS4. I just bought it. So I got it twice. And PS4 I actually got it super cheap, like I don't know, it was $5. It was super cheap. On PS4 I got it super cheap, but I didn't play it. But I did get it. The other game that I actually liked a lot on my Switch is Boy. I don't know if you have played it. It's super charming, and the pixel art on that game is amazing. I follow the artist on Twitter for quite a long time. It's super fun. I don't know if you have played Boy. Another one, this is not an indie because tons of people love it, and I fell for the charm as well. So you could say it's super mainstream, but I don't care. It's amazing nonetheless. Fight me on that. It's Shovel Knight. So I like Shovel Knight and all the DLC. Well, I haven't played the card one, the King of Cards. The yes, I actually got Our Boy on release price because I wanted to support the developer. I know it was an indie developer, and I followed their career for a long time now, and I got it at full price. I don't regret it. It's not like, yeah, that's my problem. That's the thing. That's why I say, okay, one game at a time. I know what you mean, especially when they're on the same console. Yes, Shovel Knight, I could understand why you don't like it, right? Like, because it's based on real old school gaming. I dug it though. I don't regret playing that, and I like all the DLCs. I've seen it. I think I haven't. It's like a. I haven't played it, but from what I see, it's basically a pixel Dark Souls, right? A 2D Dark Souls in pixel art. That's why I get from Blasphemous, which is something I might like quite a lot. So I'll probably give it a try. Okay, so I'm just. I said I was going to build today, so I'm just giving shape to the main body. I can do some building while we talk. But no, I haven't tried Blasphemous yet. Okay, so going back to amazing games that I actually love. It's it's Hyper Drift. I forgot the name. I know part of the name is Hyper Drift. It's quite a complicated name. Hyper Light Drifter, yes, that's the one. Like I said, I love my Switch as an indie machine. It's the best. Having an indie, something that allows you to play all of the fun games. Yeah, it's Hyper Light Drifter. And that's in part why I actually love my Switch, because it's been my indie machine. I like that that's the function that I gave my Switch, and I love that functionality. It is my indie machine. And you know what? It has given me the chance to play some games like non-mainstream. You know what? I'm actually not that afraid of the spiral pattern. And well, I'm a bit afraid, but not too much. I'll see what I can do. I'm not super afraid. The thing is, in order to do what I have in mind to do, I might need some pieces that I'm not sure that I have in white or brown. I know I have them in black, so the only thing that worries me about is having some pieces in white that I'm not sure that I have in white. And the brown parts, what I'm afraid as well is that if I don't find them in brown, I might have to go black. So the spiral might be white and black, which I'm not super happy about. But it's a compromise that I'm willing to go, right? Yeah, but the back spiral is easy. The back spiral is not gonna be a problem. It's quite easy. I'm just gonna reserve this space to do that. So that's not gonna be a problem. Yeah, I'm not getting anything else on Bricklink. And not because I have anything against Bricklink. It's like I said, I've forgotten which stream. The last 2 orders that I have made on Bricklink have been no fine, and it's not on the seller's part. So the seller has actually been amazing, and they both actually have returned the money. It's not on them. The problem is the postal service. So the only way I could actually consider Bricklink, it's going to a seller that's on Mexico, on my country, and speaking to them and actually tell them to use a bit pricier package delivery system, because the international shipping with Bricklink, they use the Mexico postal office, and that thing is awful. Let me give you an example of how awful it is. Okay, so I already gave you the fact that the last 2 packages have been no show, right? So that's awful on itself. But when it works, it's this awful. So my wife actually got a Christmas card this week, and it was sent through the Mexico postal office this week. A Christmas card, and that's when it works, right? And honestly, I'm not willing to pay more in shipping than in pieces. That's where I draw the line. So I'm not going to pay more in shipping than in pieces. So that's the sad truth. Yes. So I haven't gone actually this year at all to Bricklink, and if I find some yes, that was the word. Me and my wife could not stop laughing at that fact that we just got a Christmas card, and it didn't say it was late or anything. It's from a friend that lives in another city, so it's not like in the same city. But it's still in Mexico, so it's not like out of the country and it just got here. No. Just from another part of the country, it just got here. That's how awful it is. So you can see what I refer to, right? Again, by the way, if you're wondering, those bells, it's one of the reasons why I actually don't like doing the stream in the morning. And I was explaining real quick. So those bells are the garbage trucks just ring a bell so people can take the trash to them, right? That's it. Super simple, but it's one of the reasons why I don't like doing streams earlier in the morning. But yeah, in general, if you wanted me to rate the Mexico Postal Service, it's in super low tier, like worst tier, right? You know what? Low key here, I'm actually having fun streaming today. Not that I'm not having fun on other streams, but I thought I would hate doing it early Sunday morning. You know what I mean? Yes, Mega Man X is the music is, but yeah, that's one of the problems. And to make things worse, so this window here goes to the street. So this part here, it's ground floor, and people walk through, and you can hear everything, right? So you can hear cars, everything. I have a room that's far further, right? But the reason why I do this is, one, this is my office, and two, the internet box is here. I'm touching it. So if I move to the other room, I would have to either throw up quite long internet cable, or fix some access point that I have there to have more broadband. And honestly, it's not worth it. In my office, everything is set up here on my computer. I will have to move my entire office every stream, so if you have some noise from the street, sorry, but that's that's a compromise, right? I think I haven't spoken about the build at all, right? So let me take a break from speaking about games and just go back to the build. And show real quick what I have made, right? So my plants right now, as they are, usually when I do them at night, it gets quite, it doesn't have that much noise, so that's not a problem. You would notice it more in the morning. And if you start hearing like music, it's because next, like two houses right next to this, there's a restaurant. And one of the things that's very common here is that when you have a restaurant and with COVID and everything, all the tables are outside, like they put everything outside. People start playing music to get money, right? And you might hear like rancheras or typical Mexican music coming from the background. It's just that. So sorry beforehand for that. It's not the funnest thing to hear all day. Okay. So real quick about the build, because it's what we actually came today. Next, we might actually, I'm having fun, so we might actually do it every Sunday. If you join to talk, if you're down to talk every Sunday, I'll join to talk every Sunday. Just let me know beforehand. If you're down to it, I'll come back every Sunday in a stream just to talk, like we were talking about games, right? Because I'm having quite fun, even if I'm not a morning person, and I say that again, not like I don't have fun on other streams, but I'm not a morning person, and I thought I would not have such a great time today because it's Sunday morning, so I was kind of dreading just that, right? Okay, so real quick about the build. So like I showed before, so 6 width on the shoulders. I'm using the big ball joints. What I made here is I'm using a 3x2 plate below the ball joint click, and I'm using a small ball joint as the shoulder. No, sorry, so as the elbow. And I'm putting 2 plates here that will allow me to build here. And I'm also going to build going upwards here, but I don't have. I'll show you real quick what I'll do, but I won't do it right away because I have to work up things out. So this is going to be actually going on the plating part of the build. So I'm actually going to build something like this, right? So this is going to cover the shoulders, something like this. Perhaps not exactly this, but it's going to be something like this, which will allow me to build around the shoulder and will allow me to still move it quite so, right? But this is going to be more in the plating part of the build. Right now I'm doing like the skeleton. So, and the neck is going to be quite simple, actually. This is basically the same neck I used for Sapphire, right? So I put here a small ball joint with 2 plates in separation here. So one of the plates is the one holding it here at the back. It's a 2x3, and the other one is just a single 2x1, right? And then I put the ball joint connection and 4x1 here to secure it. And this will allow me to have a neck that moves further. And of course I'll build here like the neck coverage. So I'm gonna build something to cover here. I'll probably use something like this. To build around the top. So I'll probably put 2 side plates here, and I'll be able to build here something that will cover this, right? So that's the basic of that skeleton. And for the arm, or for the, let me continue building the skeleton on one side, just so I can show you. I'm actually getting hungry, so this stream I might do a little bit more. Like I said, I haven't had any breakfast. I blame the time zone change and the fact that I perhaps planned the stream too early. If I do it next Sunday, it will be an hour later, like 10 AM for me instead of 9 AM. So I blame those two things for that. Okay, so this is gonna be the basics, right, of Hydroid. The only thing I'm not super convinced, to be honest, is the length of this, right? So this right now seems too short, way too short. So I either make this shorter or make this longer, because as it is right now, this is gonna be like the length. The arm, which I think in regards to the drawing, the arm is, let me check it out real quick. So full length, it should be mid thigh. It's not inaccurate, so it's similar to that. So the hand itself, it's gonna actually be something around mid thigh. So I might do something to stretch this part, and what I'm thinking about doing there is that could be the solution. It's actually something like this. So if I do something like this, it's actually 3 studs. Of course, I will have to reinforce it and add studs here, stud here, and add something that attach it. But it's actually one stud longer, right? And the hands would be like mid thigh, because well, no, the knee's gonna be here. This is the knee part, right? Like right here. So it would be. This would be accurate, more accurate, like position-wise. So I probably just could end up that way. And honestly, it's super easy to. If I use that piece, it's going to be super easy to cover, right? Because all I would have to do to give it a cover is to do something like this. Not this. Oh, you know what? I know which soundtrack I might do some time in the future. I might do some Castlevania, put some Castlevania here and there. Now that I heard something like this, I might do something like that in a future stream. So plating this build, this particular skeleton, is quite simple, right? And I like the fact that on the build itself, it's quite thicker on the biceps and thinner in the lower part of the arm, right? So this way it gets that look. It's a bulkier at the top and less bulky at the arm. You can always, if I find it too short, I can just always replace it with this one here. So, and going back to this, if I put this here, a single 2x1 plate, that will allow me to do something like this. Right now, I'm not super into colors. I'm just using the colors I know. General go that. I might change colors after all, but that's. I'm just building like a skeleton. If I put this 2x2 slopes, it can secure the arms this way and gives it a more streamlined look also. So that's good. Yes. When I was speaking Castlevania, I was speaking Symphony of the Night. You are correct. Okay, so in theory, I have a super solid. That's a super solid top part of the body build. So what I did here to add like this volume here, I have this part that works perfect for this. So basically, I think I was speaking while I was doing this. So let me just explain it real quick. So at the top is just a side plate, right? Put out anything that's 2x2 here, and this part I love because it gives the shape and it gives volume. It has everything. So if you put two of this together, you're actually given like a nice shape that works on every angle. See? And all you have to do is fill up at the front, like the abs, right? So you see that it has a nice shape overall on every angle, right? It has a very body-like shape. So body-wise, I'm happy with that, and I'll add some slopes here, like at the bottom, or perhaps just plates, 2x1 plates to cover this, and that would be it. It doesn't need anything else, in my opinion, to be it. If I can find this in darker brown. Oh yeah, he can. He can lean forward, he does, and he can turn. So all the articulation is there. So it's gonna be fully articulated. Same with the neck. The neck, of course I have to build the neck, so it's covered on the sides, but this will have some cover itself, but it will allow it to turn, to lower and going back, right? Same with shoulders. Shoulders I'm gonna try to keep as much articulation as possible. Same as with the elbow. So the elbows are gonna be fully articulated. Again, the double articulation, it allows it to have a better range. The wrist, I still have to work on what type of knee I want to give it. That's actually a very, I'm thinking about which type of knee I'm going to give him. And what I'm thinking right now, that could be the answer for the knee, is I might go with something like this. Where is it? Okay, so if let me find another one of these, because I know I have. Yeah. So this. I might actually change this. Because the pants are white, so I might go for something like this. Here. Yes. instead of brown. And that's probably the part that's going to show in more. And what I could do here is something like this for the knee, right? He has thick legs, so it's allowed. This is like not wrong by itself. But if I'm going to use this type of knee, which are thicker, I might have to go for like a longer arm. And for the lower legs, I could go to something like this, right? And for the feet, since I'm going to be using perhaps longer knees than normal, what I'm thinking is perhaps doing something like this. Instead of doing the 4th length wide, that's a 3 length wide. And the pin's gonna be there for the feet. So I'm thinking of something like this in general, right? As the overall skeleton. By the way, if you join in next, you know what, I'll try it next Sunday as well to do a stream. I'm not sure about the Saturday one. But I'll do the Sunday one. And what I'll do there, instead of building, there's an old build that I have that I think I made people really didn't notice it, or perhaps didn't like it, but I think building wise is one of my greatest achievement, right? And it's not necessarily the shape, it's the functions, which is perhaps why it's not showing so well, but why I want to show it on stream. Because it's a build, it's a mech that actually has like a lab on the back, like a house, like a small house, and the mech carries the house. And the way to access the mech, you can actually lower the back of the mech and access it from the house. So it's like a mobile lab piloted by a mech, and you can actually detach the house and have it stand at its own, with its own door, and the mech separate. So it's a build that it took me quite a while to design, but I don't think I made any promotion to it, or I did like a set of photos for Instagram, and that's it. I never gave details about it. So next week, on the Sunday stream, because Wednesday we'll focus more and more seriously on building Hydroid, but on the Sunday stream I'll show you that mech that I'm referring to, and I'll show you all the cool details that might not be shown on photos, but once you notice all those details. I promise you'll love that build as much as I am. And it was actually inspired by a drawing that I saw on Twitter. So I hope you stick around. I'll put a photo of the build right before the stream promoting it. But that's basically what I'll do next week, right? And for today, I think it's gonna be a wrap. Mainly because of two things. One, I'm hungry as hell, so I have to go to eat. Next week, I'll be pre-eating before stream. That's a guarantee. That's why it's gonna be again 1 hour late. It's gonna be 10 a.m. my time, and this week start at 9 a.m. just so that you have an idea about the time. And let me just discuss real quick next week schedule. So Wednesday is the same. It's gonna be I'm gonna be doing a stream on Wednesday. Same. Well, might be an hour later for you because again, like I said, I just changed to daylight time zone, so it might be an hour different. But it's gonna be the same Wednesday. Saturday stream, I'm still not sure about doing it. I'll have to think about it. It depends on how things go on Wednesday. And on the Sunday stream, which I'll do because I actually have found it to be fun. I'll show you the build that I'm talking about, the old build that I still have. And I'm saying that because I might have to take pieces from that build to make this. So I want to show it before I dismantle it. That's the warning. So it's the only reason why I want to have in video how it works, because I still think it's an amazing build. So I'll be showing that next week. And that's on Sunday. And depending on how next week's goes, we might have a more steady schedule. But we'll see, right? But again, next Sunday it's gonna be a more light stream. It's not gonna be built. I'm probably not gonna work on Hydroid. That's Wednesdays and perhaps Saturday. I'm still not sure. But Sundays, I'm just gonna show you the old build, and we'll talk about anything. So if you want to discuss a game, soundtrack, movies. By the way, I just watched King Kong vs Godzilla, or Godzilla vs King Kong. I always forgot the order. It's dumb fun. That's all I have to say about it. It's dumb fun. I had fun watching it. I know it's not the brightest movie. I'm not gonna be thinking about it like always, but it was fun. So I did get to watch that. Side note, I'm also watching things I'm watching during the week. If you want to talk about that as well, I'm watching Invincible on Amazon Prime. It's amazing. I haven't read the comics. I'm curious about reading the comics now. So I'm not going to tell anything about it. If you haven't watched it, watch it. Stick to the end of the first episode, and at that, you'll know if you love it or not. But do watch it. I'm watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I actually like that quite a lot. And I'm also watching Korean dramas with my wife on Twitch or on Netflix. But that's something I kind of like as well. So you want to discuss anything about it? I can recommend you amazing Korean dramas if you want to as well. Just let me know. Depending on the type of I like them more funny. They're dramas, of course, but I like them funnier than drama, because there are some that there are dramas all the way through. Then there are some that are built with comedy in it. I like the comedy ones. That's it. So for today's stream, I think that's the end. But like I said, next week's gonna be fun. We're gonna be building and we're gonna be talking. So Sunday stream. Wanna know a secret? I didn't watch Kong vs Godzilla on a legal option, right? The other ones I do have. Okay, Prime, Amazon Prime I do have because of I use Amazon Prime for work a lot. So it's a given. It's free with what I already need, right? That's fine. Disney Plus. Disney Plus is tricky, right? On the fact that it just became legal here about right when WandaVision was starting, right? Before that, it was you did not have the option. So right now it is. The problem with it is I'm only paying for it just to watch the Marvel things. Most of the other things either I have watched and I like, but I'm not super fancy of rewatching those. Sometimes I'll watch a movie here and there again. But to be honest, what I've gotten from it are the newest Pixar movies, which I just watched there, and the Marvel shows. That's it. So it's not. If you can watch it all the way, I would not. I mean, it's not super worth it. Honestly, in my opinion, Netflix is a more complete package. Well, yeah, that's true. But I binge watch those. So I think you can, if you're like me, you can get the free trial and binge watch the Star Wars all in one go, right? But I mean the Mandalorian, which is the only one I didn't watch. The Clone Wars, I think I watched somewhere else. And yeah, so Mandalorian stuff I've been watched. I'm sure for that. And that's the thing. If you wait for everything to be completed and you're not worried about spoilers, you can just wait for the free trial and watch everything all together, which is what I did with Mandalorian. And let me be honest, I think Mandalorian is the best thing Star Wars has made it's better than the newest movies. Let me put that simple. But that's the thing. There's so many streaming services right now. I'm not going for the HBO One Max that has all the DC movies and the things. I'm just not going to do that. There are too many streaming services, and I'll probably, if I have to pick two out of the three, I would pick Amazon Prime and Netflix, right? Disney Plus, I would wait for everything to be done and binge watch in one sitting, because it doesn't have like that long-lasting appeal, except for a few things. Yeah, I get your point. That's why okay, Amazon Prime, I get it, because it gives me Amazon, it's a no-brainer, because I use Amazon a ton, the shopping site. It gets me a free Twitch subs every month, which I give to random streamers, and it gives me Amazon Prime Video and music. So Amazon, that's why I wouldn't take it out, because it's not just the streaming, it's everything, right? So Amazon, it's a package value. Netflix, Netflix has better shows overall, with more variety, right? And to be honest, my Netflix account I share with my family, so I'm the Netflix provider for a few of my sisters. So I cannot take Netflix out. So that's why, if I have to do two, I'll do Amazon and Netflix. Disney I have now, because I'm able to afford it for, it's not super expensive, and it has value, but it has the less value out of the three for me, right? So just that. Okay, so side note, homework for next week for me and for you. We'll continue with this on Wednesday, perhaps Saturday, and next Sunday is just show and tell for the one of my most underrated builds I have, and we'll discuss any topics you bring to the table. So it's free Sunday, so we'll chat about everything. I'm actually even considering changing the tag on Sunday from creative to just talk. There's a just talk tag on Twitch. I might just change just talk on Sunday, which I might do. Okay, so that's it. That's today's stream. I hope you enjoyed it. I have way too much fun, more than I thought I would have on a Monday and the Sunday morning, which I usually hate. The skeleton is almost built. It can also always change, but in general, Hydroid being bulkier, I like this bulkier skeleton. Might change the lower arm. Okay, so have fun, have a nice week, and I hope you had fun today as well. Bye.